thousands of Haitian and Syrian migrants. Who gets to stay? That's the question. The BJP is putting its biggest promise to the test, the Uniform Civil Code, which has long divided political parties. It is now headed to the West Bengal Assembly. Can BJP succeed in its new ground? We explored this and much more in this edition. Let's get started. The U.S. Supreme Court has handed President Donald Trump another major immigration victory, ruling that his administration can move ahead with ending temporary protected status, or TPS, for thousands of Haitian and Syrian migrants. The 6-3 decision clears the way for the Department of Homeland Security to revoke deportation protections for around 350,000 Haitians and 6,000 Syrians, potentially exposing them to removal from the U.S. Now, TPS allows people from countries affected by war, natural disasters, or other extraordinary crises to live and work legally in the United States while conditions remain unsafe in their home countries. TPS protects its holders from deportation. Now, Haiti received TPS designation after the devastating 2010 earthquake, while Syria was added in 2012, following the outbreak of civil war. The dispute carries potentially wide implications affecting 1.3 million immigrants from all 17 countries currently designated for TPS. According to the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, apart from the 350,000 Haitians and 6,100 Syrians, the U.S. has granted temporary protected status to people from El Salvador, Ethiopia, Lebanon, Somalia, Sudan, South Sudan, Ukraine, and Yemen, among other countries. Washington has revoked TPS to people from Afghanistan, Nepal, Somalia, Myanmar, and Venezuela. And we also know that Democrats and immigrant advocacy groups condemned the ruling, warning it could leave thousands of people who have lived or worked legally in the U.S. for years to be vulnerable to deportation.
The Supreme Court decision to terminate TPS for Haiti and Syria is a total betrayal of our nation's commitment and values. This is no longer a Supreme Court. This is a rubber stamp. That's all it is. It's a rubber stamp for this crooked president. Hundreds of thousands of people who hold legal status registered with the government. They trusted the process. Now they face being torn from their families and sent back to very dangerous conditions. Nothing about this decision makes us safer or stronger. It's just plain cruel.
Supporters of the Trump administration argue that TPS was always intended to be a temporary program and that courts should not interfere with executive decisions on immigration and foreign policy.
Do you expect the administration to deport anyone who loses TPS status as a result of this ruling?
Well, of course, if you no longer have status in this country, then you're supposed to be deported. And in particular, in the case of the Haitians, the Biden administration flew over vast numbers, hard to know the exact number, but probably more than 1 million illegal immigrants from Haiti. And that's not counting the border crossings into the United States. So these are people who've only been here for a few months, who are receiving welfare, whose all their ties, all their social connections, all their family is back in their home country of Haiti. And of course, that's where they should go.
Does that mean more ICE deployments?
The Supreme Court decided that the Trump administration acted within its authority when it ended temporary legal protections for immigrants from Haiti and Syria, about 350,000 Haitians and 6,000 Syrians. But really, this decision could have a much bigger impact. It could affect all 1.3 million people from 17 countries who are covered by temporary protected status, TPS, which allows the Homeland Security Secretary to let people remain in the United States with work authorizations in increments of up to 18 months if they deem it unsafe for return due to a natural disaster like an earthquake or civil strife.
Staying with the United States, a federal judge has ordered the U.S. Department of Justice to release less redacted versions of several Jeffrey Epstein-related documents or explain why the key details have been withheld. The ruling adds the new twist to the ongoing legal fight over the government's handling of the case files. We know U.S. District Judge Emmett Sullivan has given the Justice Department a deadline till 2nd July to comply. The order came in response to a lawsuit filed by an independent journalist. It argues that the Trump administration did not fully comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. According to the court's ruling, Judge Sullivan said the government had likely failed to meet the law's transparency requirements. He also questioned whether the Justice Department had provided sufficient reasons for withholding portions of the documents from public view. The records at the center of the dispute include 8 emails in which the names of either the sender or recipient were blacked out. They also feature a draft indictment of Epstein with the identities of potential co-conspirators blacked out. Now, another record is the 2019 email that refers to several alleged co-conspirators whose names were also withheld. The ruling puts fresh focus on the Justice Department's broader release of Epstein files. In January, the department had already said it had released millions of pages of documents under the transparency law. However, it also acknowledged that many records had been partially redacted to protect victims' identities, personal information, and matters related to ongoing investigations. The latest order comes after months of questions over how the files have been handled. Since December, the government has released millions of pages, including emails, photographs, and law enforcement records linked to the federal investigations into Epstein and his death while in custody. The Justice Department has maintained that only around half of the nearly 6 million pages collected during the Epstein investigation will ultimately be made public. According to the department, many of the remaining records are duplicates, unrelated to Epstein, or even protected from disclosure under legal privilege. The court's latest order now requires the department to more clearly justify those decisions. For more on this, our correspondent Susan Terani has sent us this report from New York. Take a look.
The ruling increases pressure on the Justice Department to be more transparent about the Epstein investigation. A federal judge has given the DOJ until July 2nd to either release additional unredacted records or explain why they remain sealed. Now, the lawsuit alleges that the department improperly withheld information, including records mentioning President Donald Trump. Now, President Trump has denied any wrongdoing, has not been charged with any crime related to Jeffrey Epstein. And while the ruling doesn't validate those allegations, it could lead to the release of new information or require the DOJ to publicly justify keeping the records secret.
Now let's talk about America's election campaigns. They have always attracted big money, but this year the flow of cash is reaching new heights. More than $1.3 billion have already been poured into the 2026 U.S. election cycle, with Republican-leaning donors accounting for the biggest share. The massive fundraising effort comes months before voters head to the polls and are already giving a glimpse of the financial battle that are shaping this race. According to a Washington Post analysis of Federal Election Commission records, Republican-leaning donors contributed around $880 million during the first half of this year. Democratic-leaning donors gave nearly $290 million, while bipartisan and special interest groups added another $200 million. Much of this money has flowed into super PACs, political groups that can legally raise and spend unlimited amounts of support candidates. The list of top contributors reads like a who's who of America's wealthiest people. It includes several billionaires. Among them even includes Elon Musk, who recently became a newly minted trillionaire after a dramatic jump in his fortune. But not every donation appears under a billionaire's personal name. Many wealthy donors use companies or affiliated organizations to channel their political contributions. Even according to the Washington Post, Democratic financier George Soros, for example, is linked to two entities, Geosor and the Fund for Policy Reform, which together donated about $102 million in the first 6 months of the election cycle. As the donations keep growing, so does the debate around them. Critics argue that America's wealthiest individuals now have matched and unmatched ability to shape elections and influence public policy. U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders has been one of the loudest voices raising the alarm. He has accused the Trump administration and powerful corporate interests of creating what he calls an oligarchy, where a small group of billionaires hold enormous economic and political power. Republicans, however, are likely to see this fundraising edge as a major advantage. Political analysts say having more money early in the campaign means more television ads, stronger voter outreach, bigger campaign operations. But as the election race gathers pace, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. The battle for votes is also becoming a battle of wallets, with billions of dollars already helping shape the political contest long before election day arrives. Shifting our focus to India now, the newly elected Bharatiya Janata Party government in West Bengal is preparing to introduce the Uniform Civil Code in the state. A bill is likely to be tabled in the Assembly on Monday during the ongoing budget session. The move, it fulfills one of the BJP's key election promises, and if passed, it would become one of the biggest legal reforms introduced by the state's first BJP government. West Bengal Chief Minister Shubhendu Adhikari has said that his government will implement the Uniform Civil Code by following the due legal process.
The Uniform Civil Code will happen in Bengal. There is a procedure that we will tell you in the Assembly. A committee is formed under the leadership of the sitting inquiry. The way it happened in Gujarat, Uttarakhand and Assam, it will be done in the same procedure.
The UCC was one of the Bharatiya Janata Party's major commitments in its election manifesto, and the proposed bill is being seen as an attempt to fulfill that promise soon after coming to power. So if the legislation moves ahead, West Bengal will join a small but growing list of states that have begun working towards a common civil law framework. Remember, Uttarakhand became the first state in the country to implement the Uniform Civil Code. BJP leaders have also referred to similar discussions and proposals in states such as Gujarat and Assam. To talk about this code, the Uniform Civil Code, it aims to replace religion-based personal laws with a single set of civil laws that apply equally to all. It covers matters such as marriage, divorce, inheritance, succession and adoption, regardless of a person's religion. The proposed framework includes a common minimum legal age for marriage and makes marriage registration mandatory. It also seeks to ban polygamy and provide equal property and inheritance rights for women. Another key provision is the mandatory registration of live-in relationships, including both their beginning and the end. The proposal also brings in a common legal process for divorce, replacing different religious procedures with a single framework. The proposal is expected to trigger a political debate across the state because supporters see it as a step towards legal uniformity and equal rights, but critics are likely to question its impact on religious personal laws and cultural practices. The discussion around the bill is expected to continue both inside and outside the Assembly in the coming days. Staying with India, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Vijay has urged Prime Minister Narendra Modi to reconsider the centre's decision to dilute its stake in Neyveli Lignite Corporation or NLC through an offer for sale. The government plans to divest up to 3% equity If the sale goes through, the centre's holding in the Navaratna PSU will decline from 72.2% to 69.2%. The Tamil Nadu government argues that NLC is a strategic national asset and that further dilution of government ownership could weaken public control over a company critical to the country's energy security. In his letter to the Prime Minister, Vijay said that the power and mining company's growth has been closely tied to Tamil Nadu, so the state has facilitated land acquisition, infrastructure development and rehabilitation over several decades. He argued that the state has a legitimate stake in the PSU's future and that strategic public sector enterprises should remain firmly under effective government ownership. According to the Tamil Nadu government, the issue goes beyond disinvestment and raises larger concerns about energy security, mineral resources, and the long-term interests of both the state as well as the country. So the latest proposal revives a long-running political battle over NLC's ownership. Since the centre first initiated disinvestment plans in 2003, every major stake sale has faced opposition from successive Tamil Nadu governments, political parties, and employee unions. In 2006, worker protests and political pressure forced the withdrawal of a proposed 10% divestment. In 2013, the AIADMK government prevented a larger stake sale to private investors by getting 5 state-owned PSUs to acquire a significant portion of these shares. The DMK has also consistently opposed NLC disinvestment over the years, making the issue one of the state's rare bipartisan positions against the centre's privatization efforts. For more on this, WION's principal correspondent Siddharth MP has sent us this report from Chennai.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Vijay has written to Prime Minister Modi urging the central government to reconsider its decision to sell 3% of more than 70% of the stake that the central government holds in Neyveli Lignite Corporation. A central government firm, Neyveli Lignite Corporation, is headquartered in Tamil Nadu, and the firm has been involved for more than 7 decades in coal mining and generating power through coal-fired power plants. Chief Minister Vijay has expressed concern that this is a power plant that has been nurtured by the state's resources and by the people of the state, and the government must continue to exercise control over such a strategic asset. Vijay's letter to the Prime Minister comes after DMK leader and parliamentarian Kanimozhi wrote to the Coal Minister of India. She also urged that earlier attempts to sell the central government stake in Neyveli Lignite have been met with protests, resistance, and in one instance, the Tamil Nadu government ended up purchasing the stake that the central government offloaded. She also went on to mention that such a move and this proposal has caused considerable discomfort and concern among the people employed in Neyveli Lignite Corporation and also the trade unions there. From Chennai, Siddharth MP, WION World is One.
How many hours a week should an employee work in India? This question has often been the subject of intense debate, and now Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy has become the latest to come up with a proposal. Speaking during an event in the state, Revanth Reddy appealed to all state government employees to work 1 extra hour every single day. The Chief Minister argued that the move could help achieve more productive outcomes, especially in enhancing the state's revenues. Reddy added that the increased revenue will be used for employees' welfare and that earning a good reputation for the government is also in the hands of state employees. According to Reddy, the state amassed a massive debt of 8.1 lakh crore rupees during its 10-year reign, stating that he had not taken a single day of leave in the last 30 months. Reddy urged all state employees to work harder and contribute to state's development. King Charles has become the first reigning British monarch to publicly disclose his personal tax payments. Buckingham Palace said the king has paid more than £30 million in personal taxes since acceding to the throne in September 2022. The palace describes the move as part of its commitment to greater transparency. The disclosure marks a break with royal tradition. Charles' mother, Queen Elizabeth, never published her personal tax details during her 70-year reign, so British monarchs are legally exempt from paying income, capital gains and inheritance taxes, but have voluntarily paid income and capital gains tax since 1993, following public scrutiny of royal finances. The palace said the king paid £11.7 million, which is nearly $15.43 million in taxes during 2023-24, followed by £12.9 million, which is $17 million in the year 2024-25. Now, Prince William also released his personal tax details for the first time as Prince of Wales, revealing he has paid more than £20 million in taxes since 2022. The sovereign grant will rise to help complete refurbishment of Buckingham Palace and even fund maintenance, cybersecurity and energy efficiency upgrades. The £369 million renovation, which began in 2017, is expected to finish next year, after which Clarence House will become the royal couple's London residence instead of the Buckingham Palace. This will allow increased public access, hosting of more events, and expanding the number of visitors. The unprecedented disclosures come as the royal family faces growing public scrutiny over its finances and governance. A recent poll has shown that the royal family's approval among the British people has fallen to a 33-year low. A 3-month-old baby made history by attending the EU climate conference. Swedish Environment Minister Romina Pourmokhtari attended the Council's meeting with her 3-month-old infant as she returned from her maternity leave to her duties as a minister. Just before the conference, she addressed her baby's presence to the media and highlighted the importance of being a present minister and a present mother.
Good morning. Very pleased to be back in the Council and looking forward to today's discussions on many different topics. Happy also to be an example of not having to choose between being a present minister and a present mother.
Many women government officials in the past have pushed the envelope on managing official duties along with taking care of their babies. Back in 2018, the former Prime Minister of New Zealand had made the headlines by bringing her baby to the UN General Assembly as the first head of state to do so. Australian Senator Larissa Waters in 2017 had become the first politician to breastfeed her baby in the nation's parliament. And likewise, in 2023, Italian lawmaker Gilda Sportiello, who fought for a rule so that women can be allowed to nurse their babies during a parliamentary session, she became the first woman to do just that and garnered bipartisan applause in the House. Many such events have been seen on the global stage in the past 2 decades as women have assumed public offices, sparking both awe and outcry alike from different sections of commentators, while traditionalists, on the other hand, have viewed these instances as moments of motherly love and affection of display. Appreciating these lawmakers for gracefully overlapping twin roles. Well, with that, we wrap up Race to Power, but leaving our viewers in India with a reminder that you can watch all 2026 FIFA World Cup matches on Z5. One of the most eagerly anticipated games of the group stage takes place in Boston. The 2018 world champions France go head-to-head with Norway, side in a crucial Group I clash. Tune in and catch all the action live. More news and developments wait on the other side. Make sure you are staying tuned to WION World this one. Thank you for watching.
debates, elections, alliances, controversies, and power play. Stories that analyze global and domestic politics. A dedicated show with varied perspectives, expert take, citizens' voices, detailed ground reports, and in-depth coverage from political corridors of the world. This is Race to Power, only on WION.
WION Health Resort is unique, the only one of its kind. Experience the 4 paths of natural wellness: yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy. Each uniquely customized program improves the whole person to make every person whole. Come to WION Health Resort. Make your reservation at yowan.com.
सच नाम का शो का सीजन 3 अब आ रहा है। आप पूछेंगे सीजन 3 में नया क्या है? नया है सच की दिशा, जो महानगरों से निकलकर अब छोटे बड़े सभी शहरों में और कस्बों में भी आएगा। नया है सच का दायरा, जो छात्रों और युवाओं तक तो पहुंचेगा ही, अपितु अब अन्य हर उम्र के लोगों तक भी फैलेगा। नया है इस सच का मंच, जो कॉलेज के ऑडिटोरियम से निकलकर खुली हवा में, खुले मैदानों में और आपके बीच पहुंचेगा। स्टार्टअप शुरू करने वाले नौजवान हों या रिटायरमेंट के बाद जीवन के सवालों से उलझे लोग हों, मैं आप सभी से संवाद करूंगा। आप यदि अपनी किसी समस्या का समाधान ढूंढ रहे हों तो मुझे लिखकर भेज सकते हैं। मैं अपने तजुर्बे और एक्सपीरियंस के अनुसार आपकी समस्या का समाधान आपको लिख के भेजूंगा। आप हमारी वेबसाइट पर जाकर सीधे संवाद कर सकते हैं।
India slams Pakistan's Defence Minister Khwaja Asif's war threat remarks over the Indus River system, call it a desperate attempt by Islamabad to divert attention from the country's internal issues. Another Indian city faces devastating fire, young lives lost in Lucknow and families shattered. Why does the same tragedy keep repeating itself? And Sri Lanka battles its worst dengue outbreak in years, with hospitals stretched to the limit. Could this crisis spiral out of control? We get to these answers and much more on Inside South Asia.
Where darkness hides behind every corner. Where the truth is stranger than fiction. A show that dives deep into the stories which shock and mystify. Unsolved murders. Psychopaths who defy explanation. International war crimes. And millions swindled in financial fraud. The victims, the accused, and the sinister plot. Crime is your front row seat to darkness.
Vielleicht nur